Hello, and welcome to this presentation on gamification, brought to you by William Brewer, Donna Iadipaulo, Jennifer Parker, Carlos Villafane, and Sunrisa Vogel. So, what is gamification? Well, gamification is the use of game design elements in non-game contexts, and theoretically can be applied to any task, goal, application, process, or problem. Gamification uses gaming elements such as competitions, rules, and scoring to help encourage people to meet goals. Benefits of gamification include the potential for increased student engagement, creating student enthusiasm, instant feedback, assessing students, and making social connections. There are also limitations to gamification, such as the concern of decreased student attention span, ensuring a correlation with lesson objectives, cost, and logistics. So how can gamification be used in education? Well, remember the definition? Gamification makes things fun? Okay, so that is paraphrasing a bit, but essentially, that is what it does. Few students want to go to class and learn about ancient Rome or states and capitals, but many of them do want to play games. If they can learn while also playing games, they will be more enthusiastic about the material and more motivated to learn the information. Think about how many people play Pokemon Go and know all sorts of useless facts about those fake creatures. What if, instead of memorizing Pokemon, kids were enthusiastically memorizing facts about presidents? This is what gamification can do for education. There are many technologies that can be used with gamification. Wearable tech, such as a Fitbit, can help people turn weight loss into a game. This presentation will focus on robotics, Raspberry Pi, tablets, and virtual reality, and how they relate to education. Robotics is not a new field, but using it in education is fairly recent. One example is the VigoBot, which enables ill children to attend school from afar and to participate in a full day with their classmates. Robotics has many educational applications and can help teach students about design, engineering, math, science, building, and more, all while having fun. One example of how to use robotics with gamification is a robotics competition, which uses gaming elements by awarding students points and badges for designing and building parts of the robot, and then for programming their completed bot to perform certain tasks. Some benefits to using robotics include an increase in student engagement and creating enthusiasm for subjects that students might otherwise dislike. Another benefit is the social interactions. Students learn to work in groups and learn cooperation and interaction skills. There are also limitations to robotics. For most schools, funding is a constant issue, and robotics are not cheap, as they require special parts and software. Another issue to think about is student assessment, which could be more challenging in a group and make it more difficult to tell which students have learned which skills. Logistics also create a problem, as a dedicated area with plenty of workspace would be needed, along with storage. Many schools are already filled to the max, and finding space may be difficult. Another piece of technology to consider is the Raspberry Pi. It may sound like a yummy dessert, but it is actually a credit card-sized computer that can plug into virtually anything. Created in the UK, it is a capable little piece of technology that can be used in electronic projects as well as for many things that a regular PC can do, such as spreadsheets and word processing, using the internet, and playing games. One thing that makes the Pi so unique is its 40 general-purpose input-output pins, known as GPIO. These pins allow it to be connected to almost anything: monitors, keyboards, computers, phones, TVs, weather stations, and more. The educational applications for the Raspberry Pi are virtually endless. The internet is littered with ways to use the Raspberry Pi in the classroom, everything from building robots to powering Legos to creating smartphone-powered cars. Another way to use it is with a gaming system. Students can play learning games, such as Super Solvers, a game that helps with math, reading, and problem solving. The best part is the students can design and build this gaming system themselves. Another way to use the Raspberry Pi is to create a classroom competition, similar to robotics competitions. For example, the students would be given a task of programming lights to sync to various types of music. The teacher selects a song and gives the students a time limit to sync their lights to it. The more complicated their lighting setup, the more points they get for that round. There are many benefits to the Pi. For once, cost is actually on our side. At $20 to $35 each, a school could easily afford to get enough for several classes. Because they can plug into almost anything, schools can just use old monitors, TVs, and keyboards that no one wants. This also means that poor schools, or schools in underdeveloped countries, can afford to start technology programs, possibly for the first time. Size is another benefit. The Pi is the size of a credit card, so it is able to be used for any number of projects. One big plus for this new technology is the amount of information and tutorials available to teachers. Teachers aren't left to figure the Pi out for themselves, as there are numerous tutorials and videos available online. As amazing as the Raspberry Pi may seem, it does have its limitations. For one thing, it uses its own operating system, Raspbian, which means teachers would need training before using it. Educators must also remember that it is not a traditional computer. While it can be used for many of the same things as a PC, it was not designed for this and has limited processor speed and memory. And while the device itself may be cheap, teachers should plan carefully as many of the projects can be pricey. Tablets are another piece of emerging technology that can be used with gamification. It may come as a surprise to learn that the first tablet was created in 1956. But it was not until 2010, when Apple released its iPad, that they really became popular. Tablets provided a new portable form of education, and teachers and students were now easily able to take their classroom anywhere with them. More and more schools are supplying their classrooms with tablets. App stores have numerous educational apps for students of all ages, levels, and subjects. Teachers can set up a tablet station where students can use educational games to practice skills such as math, science, reading, writing, art, history, music, and more. One app called SomeDog allows students to create an avatar and use it to play math, reading, and writing games. They can play against each other and earn coins based on their performance, which can then be used to buy clothes, toys, and things for their houses and pets. While they are having fun with the variety of entertaining games, what they don't realize is that the app is learning their strengths and weaknesses and is tailoring their questions, which align to Common Core standards, to their specific needs. Tablets have many benefits, such as students having the ability to use these apps to practice and improve on skills they are struggling with. Teachers are busy, and they tend to have a lot of students in their classroom. No matter how much they want to, they just can't help every student with all of their weaknesses. But these games can. 25 students could all work on their individual weaknesses at the same time. Students also get enthusiastic about these games, and 70% of teachers saw an increase in student engagement with these types of educational video games. Another great thing is that many of these games provide instantaneous feedback and progress reports for teachers. SomeDog instantly provides the students with links to videos from Khan Academy to explain any concepts they are struggling with. There are also limitations to tablets. one of the biggest being the cost. A 32-gigabyte tablet costs around $120 to $500. Multiply that by dozens of students and classrooms and it can be very expensive. Plus, the cost of extra things like screen protectors, cases, docking and charging stations, and more need to be taken into consideration. Another limitation is the maintenance, tech issues, and repairs that will be needed. These specialty devices require special maintenance. Another emerging technology to look at related to gamification is virtual reality, which is an artificial environment that is presented as real. It is believable, interactive, computer-generated, explorable, and immersive. It can simulate real-life environments for training and educational purposes, such as a car accident scenario for rescue workers, educational environments for school children, such as the solar system or ancient Rome, or imagined environments, which are purely for fun. These realities can be simple view and explore formats, or can include gaming elements. They can be two-dimensional, such as a computer or a tablet, or more recently, three-dimensional with the use of virtual reality goggles. There are many educational applications to virtual reality. Students can see and participate in events that they have only read about, making them less abstract and easier to comprehend. There are many educational virtual reality games available for computers and tablets, such as PBS's Emperor of Rome, which allows a player to be emperor and deal with real situations. Another just emerging way to enjoy virtual reality is with virtual reality goggles. Unimmersive offers a non-gaming virtual tour of ancient Rome. Students wearing the VR goggles can walk around and visit. Titans of Space allows students to explore planets and stars and get a more realistic idea of their sizes and distances. It won't be long before these educational environments are gamified, allowing students to complete missions while learning. As with the other computer-based games, virtual reality has the potential to increase student engagement and enthusiasm. After all, who wouldn't rather fly through space than read about it? Because virtual reality is computer-based, it has the ability to provide instant feedback to students and progress reports to teachers. Some critics accuse virtual reality and computer games in general of limiting social connections, but this is not necessarily true. Many computer games, including VR, allow for communication between students, partnering up to complete missions, and more. Probably the biggest benefit to virtual reality is the virtual environments themselves. Students can visit and experience these far-off places in a way that they might not ever get to do in real life. Virtual reality brings learning to life. There are several limitations to virtual reality. Cost is one of them. The older virtual reality games are not very expensive. Where it gets pricey is with the virtual reality goggles. While the goggles themselves can be bought for as little as $15, most require a smartphone. Maintenance is another problem. The school's IT person might need special training, or a budget might need to be allocated to send them off for repairs. One issue brought up by critics is that students may become so engaged in virtual reality that they become bored and uninterested with real reality. Gamification offers a number of opportunities for new and exciting ways to increase student engagement. There are many different technologies available to help incorporate gamification in a classroom, and today we just reviewed a few of them. The educational applications, benefits, and limitations are important to consider when choosing how games could support your classroom. If you love the idea of motivating your students through games, then gamification may be for you. But if it feels like an added burden, it may not be the right choice. Starting small and giving yourself lots of time for planning is the key to success.